Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Diane and today we're going to be making homemade bread in my Breville bread machine. So let's just get right to it. Here we go. So here are our ingredients for our bread machine bread. Okay, so I have all my ingredients here, which are 7 ingredients for today, and I'm going to show you what I do. I have started using a scale to measure my ingredients. Like for the past year, I found out I get a better result if I measure. So it's just a cheap scale that I got. And what you want to do is you want to cut it on, and you're going to place your container that you're going to measure in on there. And this is going to hit it again, and that's going to take away the weight of the bowl. And so it's going to zero it out. Then you'll put it back on there, and it should go back to 0. And I've already measured everything out. Today we're using grams, and so this is the olive oil, and of course traditionally you use butter, but I always go with olive oil. So it calls for 3 tablespoons or 43 grams of butter, or I'm using olive oil. So I'm going to put in the 43 grams of butter, or excuse me, of olive oil. Just a little bit more, and there we go, 43 grams of olive oil, or 3 tablespoons of butter, or just 3 tablespoons of olive oil if you don't have a scale. But I like using the scale. And again, you use the olive oil that you want to use, whatever you decide on. I like this. I like the color of it. There's so many different things out there about olive oil now, so you just don't know. Just use what you like. I can't tell you. So I'm going to grab my bread pan, and make sure your paddle is in the upright position. Okay, it's not laying down. And you're going to put your ingredients in according to the manufacturer's direction for your bread maker. So mine calls for the liquids to go in first. So I'm going to start with the liquids, and I'm going to pour in I have a 1 cup of lukewarm water. Let's talk about this really quick. So lukewarm just simply means that, with clean fingers I have, so if I was to stick my finger in here and rub this on my wrist, it should feel warm, not cool, not room temperature, not hot, but just lukewarm. So we're going to pour our 1 cup just directly over into our bread pan. And then also we have our lukewarm milk. That's the same thing. On my microwave, I can usually do my water in the microwave for a little bit less than 30 seconds, and it gets it right where I want to. And the milk, if I've taken it out and warmed it and let it sit out on the counter for a little bit, the same thing. Put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and it gets it right to where I want it at. So you would do the same thing with that. Just rub it on your wrist. It would be like what you would give to a baby. And so then we're just going to take and pour our milk in there next, because that's the next ingredient is our milk. And you can use whatever milk you want to use. This is just the regular sweet milk that I'm using. And then, of course, your 3 tablespoons of butter. In my case, I'm using olive oil. You could use whichever one you want to use. I have made it with coconut oil before, but I prefer the olive oil. And then I'm going to go in with my salt next. So this is 9 grams or 1.5 tablespoons of salt. And I have found out that if you cut back the salt, it doesn't taste as good. So I just go ahead and use what it calls for. And then 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar, which is 35 grams of sugar. Okay. We're just gonna, and I just like to just sprinkle it all through there like that. And then our flour. This is the King Arthur's all-purpose flour. I like the flour. It always gives me a good result when I'm doing any type of baking, be it a cake or pie crust or whatever. Always use King Arthur. And I have used the organic all-purpose flour, and that's just as good, and I've used the 100% wheat, which is just as good. Or sometimes I'll just mix them, and I'll do half wheat and half just regular white. So we're gonna put all of our flour in there, and it's 3 3/4 cups or 450 grams. And so this is the 450 grams. I've already measured it out on my scale. It's 450 grams. Alrighty, and then you just want to go in here with your finger and just create a little whale. And we're going to put in, next we're going to put in our yeast. You can use 1 1/2 teaspoon of dry active yeast or instant yeast. So this is instant yeast that I'm using today. And you're just going to put that in the whale. And next we're going to set it in our machine and we're going to get it going. Okay, so we're going to let our top down, and then we're going to choose our settings. And I'm just going to be operating on just a basic bread dough. I'm going to choose my crust, and I always choose the light. And then my size, I'm going to do a 2-pound. And then all you need to do is hit the start button, and it's going to take off, and it's going to take it 3 hours and 1 minute to cook, and it's going to be fabulous. Okay, so we're going to always keep on hand some water when it first starts and some flour. If we need to add in water because it's too thick, or flour because it's too sticky, you're going to do that 1 tablespoon at a time, no more, 1 tablespoon at a time. We're going to look at it and see how it's progressing. Okay, and that's looking good. We're going to let it continue mixing, but we'll check it again to see after everything gets mixed up. We'll see if we need to add flour. Okay, so it's looking a little sticky to me. So 1 tablespoon at a time, I'm going to add in some flour. Okay. It's okay to let your lid up at the very beginning, but after it gets mixed up, you don't want to keep that lid up. All right, let's check it again. All right, and we're going to add in another, maybe not quite a full tablespoon, I'm sorry, of flour. I'm adding in probably half of a tablespoon, because once you get it in there, you got to add water to get it right. It can become a little difficult, so I'm doing it like a half a tablespoon at a time. Okay, so that's looking good. I've added about 2 tablespoons of flour to it. And then I'm going to go in and just scrape it down a little bit on the side. We want to get all of that flour incorporated. Okay, and that's going to continue to scrape up all that flour that's on the bottom, and that's looking really good. I did the finger test, and that's just, you go in and it should just be just tacky, and it feels really good. So now we're going to just continue to let it do its thing. We'll come back at the end of the second rise, and I'm going to show you what I do to make my bread come out flat on top. Okay, I'm going to let you look at it. We're on the second kneading, and it's looking good. A little bit of dough may not look like it's going to make much, but it'll make a nice sized loaf. And then we're going to slice it and put it in our bag, and I'm going to have it take sandwiches to work with for the rest of the week. But it's going to be mighty good. So at this point, we're not going to lift the top up anymore, except for when we come in. So for when we come in and do our last little, sometimes you can't see through the window because of the steam, but yeah, there it is. You can see it. That's looking good still. All right, we'll check back later. Okay, just want to show you all what's happening in here. So this is the first rise. Wow, that's looking really good. I'm gonna let the top go back down. And when it gets to where it's on the finish with the second rise, I'm going to show you what I do to get a flat loaf. Okay, so now it's on the third rise. It just beat. And what I do is, with greased hands, I just go in here and I pull it out. Take out the paddle. And then I flatten it in here. And we're going to let the top down and let it continue the third rise, and then it's going to bake. There's the time. I'm going to stop it. And going to lift the lid up. And it's hot. Let's see if we can get that down there adjusted for us. And that's just the color I want. And I'm just going to lift it out. And there is my homemade sandwich bread. Nice and flat on the top the way I want it. I don't spray anything on it at all. I'm going to let it sit in here for 1 minute. Then I'm going to flip it out. Okay, so I've let it sit for a minute. And then we're going to just go ahead and with dry cloths. And I'm going to flip it out. And see, there's no paddle, so you don't have to worry about that. And I'm just going to quickly flip it around and let you see it and how beautiful that is. And it smells great. Now we're going to let this cool completely until it's completely cooled. And then we're going to slice it. Okay, so the bread is completely cooled and we're getting ready to slice it. So let's do it. Okay, so I have it preset on what I normally slice it on. And that's just the first slice. The crust, we're going to save this because we're going to bag it up. Okay, and so here's the inside of what it looks like again. Okay, so I've finished slicing it all up and got it ready, and it's a good thing because it looks like it's storming here. Well, I can hear it. So, hey, good thing I made bread. We may be just having sandwiches. In fact, I'm going to fix one right now. And so we may just be having sandwiches tonight. Usually it's best just to set it like this. And pull that bag up around it. And then we'll turn it back on the side. Let's get that bottom piece straight. Okay. There we go. But nice, beautiful slices. Dad is giving me a fit today. Alright, there we go. Ties. Okay. And that's more than enough to last me all week. Okay. Put a little mayonnaise on my bread. And these make a really big sandwich, and it is, like I said, it is delicious. I've already tasted it's, of course it's delicious. It's the same recipe that I always use time and time again. And you're going to find that recipe down in the description. All you got to do is click on the link and you can find it down in the description. For directions, hey, just refer back to the video so you can see how to make it. I'm going to go in here with a little bit of black forest ham. Put that on there. Close it up. Look. A really nice big ham sandwich on fresh bread where you control the ingredients, no preservatives. Just keep it in your fridge and it's storming. And I'm out. Thank you so much for watching my video. Be blessed and have a good day.